Good afternoon, guys. Welcome back. And today I've got a gold breakout to the downside, followed with some fundamental news behind it. This is from Tuesday. Sort of a drug comment. One of the other phase one drugs that are about, along with all the others. Just something that I found that was quite new that I didn't know about the immunity. Sort of after couple doses, after 6 weeks, you begin to have like immunity sort of signals. That's the thing that I found quite big in this. So that's how I sort of executed off that. I got the execution as well for you guys as well. But just want to elaborate on how this sort of comment turned into sort of a technical trade, which I had in mind as well. Then I'll go for the execution and the things that I could improve on, because I feel like I did all the hard work in this trade and I never really paid myself well enough in the end. Full size in gold, it's something I feel like I should have done better, and we'll talk about how I was sort of feeling in that time, and sort of the different dynamic of how sort of painful it was before we broke lower. Sort of the risk on sort of diminished, the stocks turn around and S&P turn around, the bonds didn't react. So it's how you can then change sort of your focus onto then just focusing on the one setup, and also the other part was, not adding in as we go lower. I got out of a lot of it, but just to sort of focus on how we sort of, how we can improve on that front. So go through sort of the technical setup from the morning. This is sort of my view. I had was that we had this big down move and then reversed, and again we've got this little tight range like we've got here overnight. We've opened, come off, we're coming into, that's the Monday, and we've got really tight range. And again in the morning we sort of had this bid up early 7-8 o'clock, and I'm thinking that really you should be long, considering we now are holding these highs. There's a bit of support here. We should really be trading up higher, and you got this high and another big high you could be aggressive through. That was the upside sort of plan. But I was thinking, well, if this does fail, like we have seen here, like a couple times it's failed to break higher, and then we've got a chance we could roll over. We can take all these little hourly lows. The target looked down to this low. So like I say here, of course, there's a chance of this breaking to the downside. You think you can be just as aggressive to the downside, and look for the break of sort of the yesterday's low, which was in the end. But really, you probably want to be targeting that low in the end. Profile wise, again, yesterday was sort of a bit more of the Monday, was opened and we come off. We gapped up, come off. We just built some value here, tight range. Volume 125k versus the prior day of 192. See the lowest of the lot here. Opened on the Tuesday directly in the middle. I feel like you could trade either way here out of this little tight range that we had. You got these two highs. I was looking for the move up. So again, I think that like I said, you could get a quick move lower. So you got this VPOC here. You could trade straight through. That was sort of the plan in my head. This is the announcement that came out. So it's Inovio announces positive interim phase 1 data for NIO 4800 vaccine for COVID-19. So this was the main part, was the 94% of phase 1 trial participants demonstrated overall immune responses at week 6 after 2 doses of their vaccine in 40 healthy volunteers in the preliminary analysis. So that was what I was mainly going off. I know it's only 40, but it has to be over 30 for it to be, liable, and etc. etc. So really, it's not the massive, but I haven't seen anything about immunity after 6 weeks of 2 doses, which I think is pretty big. And now this is going to be the key. A lot of the what the guys are thinking now is that phase 2 and phase 3, when you start hearing some good things out of that, I think that's what's going to move the market more than all this phase 1 stuff, because you've got a lot of drugs that are in phase 1 as well. I think there's only 3 that are actually in phase 3 currently at the moment. So when those results start to come out from those companies, that's when they're testing, I think, like 8,000 odd people, which is, you know, a big difference. You want to see some good results come out of that for sort of a next sort of you know, announcement from any drug people or drug companies, should we say. So again, this is sort of the end of the day of what happened. You know, we got that massive reversal, and again in the morning we had a test down after we failed around here. This was the area I was looking to break. Then I ended up just thinking of just targeting that or a break of that low. I did try early in the morning and took quite a big loser on this, you know, trying to hold the trade and keep in line with it. And then we got on to the second, the second leg. So this was my description at the end of the day was got short, probably a bit late, but then I started to add in as we went lower. And I did get put on side quite nicely here, sort of a 20 tick blip it was, and then we reversed and I had my stop above those highs, which I think is pretty valid, and then we went chopped about, went higher. This is when the comment come out. So I hit that, you know, really good prices. I scratched one, scratched half, then resold again, and it was this little area here, as you can see with all the little blue dots, is that where I've got out of everything. Looking for the break, you can see it's just this little level here that is struggling to, is just holding everything up. Again, there was real lack of, as you can see down the bottom here, the real lack of volume in these candles. When this comment come out, I felt like if this puts me on side and this takes this area here that we're holding, these little 4 lows, you know, we should see some energy, we should see some real direction, and you haven't got that. And that's what sort of put me off. So that's why I started getting out of some. And then the thing is, I should have then been re-adding on this candle as I've got out of, you know, basically I think I left with 3 lots, as you can see. Or I think I resold. And I didn't resell. I tried to resell a couple, but didn't get that. And then I got out on this blip on the pullback, which is, you know, schoolboy for me, because I know gold can. That's why I held this trade, because gold can do that blip, pull back to the area it started from, and then grind its way back through and do that last. See, that last little move is, you know, pretty much a 50 tick move from here. You know, 10 lots short from 33s. You know, you're 30 ticks on side going into the lows. That's, I was thinking, okay, you got good room here. You got good room for it to chop. And again, it's just some learning from my point of view. So that's where my error was on that. But I'll be able to talk to you guys through that. Footprint wise, hasn't really offered me too much what I should have been looking at, and again, the way I got too much sucked into the price action, I should have been leaning more on the delta, and breathing, you know, breathing through the trade, not, you know, rushing it. You know, the trade was only a 20-minute trade, but you want to be, you know, it's still in the right zone and mindset, but understanding what you want to do and how the price action is, similar to that other gold move we had higher, which I think I showed you guys, is that you just want to be leaning on that structure. You know, this is telling you to keep, you know, selling, etc. I know there's not much coming up in here, but you just want to keep an eye on everything else, all the other tools, and then we do get that final flush down, which again I wasn't involved in. And again, it's sort of, again, this area, you know, being short from here, got that little churn bit here, and this is the area where, again, this, you look at this area, delta's just going down here, it's just turning over. This is where you want to be looking and keeping yourself, and you know there's sellers here, you know there's sellers here, you know, it shouldn't be coming back to your price as well. You're 15 ticks on side, it shouldn't be coming back to your price now if this is going to break the lows. This should have kept me not to get out of the trade, and, you know, got to my target eventually in the end. So I shouldn't have been getting out the trade, keeping an eye on what the delta's doing. So that's from my bad point of view of not looking at this enough. I was too focused on the price action and thinking, okay, I've got a full size here, you know, at least try and bank something. But that wasn't sort of the right thing to be doing. So I'll get into the price action and sort of my execution of this in a moment. So looking at it from this, so you got here on the second column in is gold and Euro stocks as well, which is I hit is the fourth one in, just this one here. So I'll show you the execution in, you know, normal speed, and then I'm gonna play double speed just because I want to show you sort of the 10-minute interval of how I was sort of managing the trade, and what I was thinking through it at the time, just so you know, as it's quite a slow trade, it takes a little bit of time. So coming out in this should come out in sort of the next 30 seconds, and you'll see the reaction of what you get, and hence why you see why I go to gold first. You'll see the reaction in the other two, in this, and Spoo's in the middle, of course. So you'll see the reaction in the stocks and Spoo more than you would in gold. You know, gold is not trading. I hit, I think, 33s. So there you go. There's the reaction. So you see, gold's not really done anything. I still haven't hit yet, and Spoo's gone 4 or 5 handles. So I've got him with 10 in hit in gold. Then I've seen Spoo reverse and stocks has come back a bit. So I'm thinking, okay, now there's a chance probably to buy the others. So I'm trying to then think of getting out of some gold, because now that, and also there's a chance you get into stocks, but you want to get out before this starts trading very easily. You can just keep trading up to, you know, 566 on side. Once I start to go on side a bit more, and noticing these try and bounce, you know, these try and bounce a bit. Probably shouldn't have really executed that. I only traded 60 lots into 24s. Not really great there. Still have a big clip in stocks. So then what I was thinking is, when this starts to go back on side and the pullback starts to go, I'll buy some more. You know, Spoo's bounce back up, so I'm thinking this is quite positive now. This is what you want to see. So then I buy more stocks as Spoo starts to go. Then I start to sell more gold. So now I start to go on side here. I'm thinking, okay, now I'll let this go, and now I'm going to hopefully see the onside in the stocks. So that's my main thought there. So now I've got that on. I played 2 times speed now. Or so, you know, thinking of that, you know, you think, oh, what I was thinking is that you'd get a bit more of a faster reaction. You can sort of see, even this is 2 times speed, how slow the gold is. So again, you're just looking for something a bit more of a reaction. You know, you're just being patient with this. You know, in my mind, I know the technical side to this is good. Then gold does start to come off. So this is the main key area. What I'm thinking of here is sort of 15s, 14s. This is the key area. Again, I'm waiting for these stocks to trade sort of 26s, 27s to get in some more as this gold starts to come off, and Spoo at 500 line Spoo. You know, you're just chasing. You're thinking this is a chance they could go here, so I'm willing to just wait to get in, you know, another 6 slot in here. I'm looking for it to take, because it's struggling to take the 25s. I'm thinking, okay, we can take the 25s. Let's try and get some more in. It struggles to do that, and gold's, you know, 10 ticks on side in gold. I'm thinking, okay, this trade's fine. I'm going to let this trade down to the low. You know, stay patient with it, etc. So again, the key area we're looking for is the 14s, 15s. This is the key. This little high volume bit here. You know, you want to see the energy. You can see it. You know, just trading down. And then obviously I was thinking about the possible big spike that you might get. So again, just still holding the stocks. Just really trying to hold and just look for it to, you know, this is when I thought, okay, it's going to go now. You know, you just want to see something trade around these 15s, 14s. You know, stocks again back up the 25s. It doesn't seem to want to take it. You can just see here. It just seems to just not really trade anything into it. Spoo's back up at the 52s, which is okay still. You just want to see the energy in gold around here. You know, when you see gold and it's just got that extra oomph to it. It doesn't seem to have that. You know, I've gone down to 9 now. I do get worried it's going to squeeze all the way back. So I think about covering some. which again I think at this point in time I think's the right thing to do, because you're onside. Let's get out of something. It's struggling to go here. I felt like the chance is definitely on. If it goes back down here, it should break. Still holding the size well in stocks here. I'm still waiting for it to go. I still feel like the chance is still there. A lot of other guys that I spoke to didn't really think this was anything, but I felt the immunity thing was pretty big. It just really struggles. So if we do take the 25s hit, the 25s, I think I am still a bit cautious at this point. I'm still thinking that this can get through the high, hold this to the high. There's a good chance of a good reaction. So again, I'm still being patient with this gold just because of got the technical downside to this. I'm holding here. I'm getting in. Just keeping it, and now this is the point where I feel like this is gonna really go. And I'll take some out because I've got 7 in. Don't want to get long by accident. And again, it just really struggles. So once it's through here, I thought that's the chance. This is gonna go. Again, still holding the stocks. Once it starts to bid up here, I do get a bit panicky. I've covered four lots, which is I still think it again, like I'm saying, is still right. But I'm so, as you can see, my mouse is moving quite a lot, and I'm obviously not moving my eyes to what, say, the Renko is doing and what Delta's doing, what the footprint's doing. I had some good, probably the biggest position I've had over across 2 markets, 22 lots. That's the biggest I've had. So there's a bit of me being cautious here, that you don't want to have this stocks offer 4 or 5 ticks in a straight line, because that's not what you want. Your risk is quite tight here. Once it starts trading 22s, 21s, that's sort of the trade over. You're holding 22s, 23s, but mainly my focus is on the gold. Still holding 6 lots. So I'm holding the size well. If I'm honest, I'm pleased with how I'm holding this currently. I know this is, you can obviously probably see, even though this is 2 times speed, that how slow this was and quite painful. With all the hard work you're doing here is, you want to be paid for that in the end once you're doing all this little bit of hard work. This is what I notice. I do quite a lot. I do quite a lot of this hard work, and I'm not paying myself well enough. 5 lots in now. This is where I should be saying to myself, once you start trading back up to your price, just you can scratch the rest. Stocks has come off. Spoos come back from 53s. So then I did get a bit worried about, this could possibly reverse how this price action is. It's not ideal. That's bonds they're stuck at the highs. You want to be seeing bonds, trading down 54s, 53s. If this got correlation, but the correlation at the moment, the risk on, risk off, is just really not there. It's just really not, wanting to play ball. So again, the patience for me is good. Everything else is in line. This is where I should be having a bit of time. Just breathe, understand what's going on. Let's check my charts, check your checklist. That's what I haven't done well enough at this point in the trade. I'm more panicking about as it bounces. I shouldn't be getting out of anything. It bids up a bit aggressive there. I got out of 4. Just need to be taking my time. Maybe, let's see, out of 3 now. Going down to 3. Now I'm thinking, okay, I covered 7. Now what do I do? How do I manage this now? This is now where I should be switching my brain on going, if this trades down to 10s, 9s, 8s, 7s, and it shows that there's definitely some big sellers here. You got the 18 lots here. I need to be selling big into this low. That's what I haven't got. I've thought about it, but then I'm like, oh, am I chasing the trade now as it's going low? Am I chasing it? I've been full size from 20 ticks ago. You know, the trade is still there. You know, like here, this is where I should have been hitting more just now. There, and once these 05s go, that 20 lot there, now you should be selling more. I know I'm hesitating a bit here. This is where I went wrong, is that I hesitated a bit. You know, now the trade picked up a little bit there. There's a bit of momentum. You know, 29 lots, you know, it goes then to market. I'm chasing down a little bit, and then you got that spike. So now my thought is that now these other 2 lots are going to go, and I panic out and get out of the last one. And this is what I do. I thought, I now got 1 lot, let's, you know, run it, you know, to be a hero or whatever. But that's not the point. I eventually do get out the other one before you do get that big spike. If I go fast forward a little bit, we'll go back to the low, just on 2 times speed. And eventually you do get that spike low, and this is what the flush is what you want. You know, it does that pullback of that 1 minute candle, and it grinds back through it, fills it out a little bit, and takes the low. And as you can see, the stocks has come off 10 ticks nearly. So for me in this sort of trade is that, you know, the areas where I sort of went wrong were not holding the size, not adding in the size into the lows. You know, I did all that hard work and I haven't paid myself well enough, which is a shame really, because it's a really good, you know, technical setup. You know, I've got the size on well. You know, this is where now you want to be paying yourself. You know, you just had that spike. Now we go back down to the low. It's going to have another really good move down. You know, you still want to be holding the size. You want to be patient. There's no harm in covering the size like I did. And then you do get a final big spike at some point, I think, as long as I've got it in the, yeah. So you get that big start move now, and you're getting paid really well, you know, if you're holding your size. Just like I say, I think, where is it? In this area. So you can see in this zone here where it was just struggling to go, but you just found patient enough, you know, just understand the trade better for what it is, not thinking about the P&L, that how far you're on side with full size, whatever. Just focus on understanding the trade. I didn't take enough time to focus on what the 1 minute chart's doing. That's something I've been looking at, is more of the 1 minute structure. And then adding into this candle is where I should have been, like I mentioned, I should have been going, okay, now we need to start adding in, you know. If I'm in with 5 lots from where I was before, I'm 100% going to be adding in down there. I know I would be. But then I'm thinking I'm over trading the trade, because then I've covered a lot where you could have got full size again quite easily. Yes, it probably would have, I had 3 lots from up there, but selling 5, your average price is, yeah, you know, like jumped to probably half. So you're still protected. You can scratch as it comes back if it does. And you're getting that final last minute sort of 4 minute move, you know, where you're getting an extra 50 ticks. So for me, that's where I went wrong, is not adding back in. Ooh. If I go to the end and show you some things to what I can improve on, I was leaning more on the technical structure rather than the price action again. Similar to that previous one I did, where you got real poor price action, but the technical structure is good. You know, you had a bit of fundamental news behind this as well. This is another thing to lean on. Again, footprints, Renko, Delta, just leaning on that extra small thing to keep yourself in the trade. Let the trade take its time. You know, that's another thing I put. It consolidated before the break. You know, I had to build up that little momentum. That seller had to take its time until they wanted to push it through the lows, and re-entering the trade with more size on that leg lower. Once you go back down to the lows, once you broke through those 15s and 10s. You know, that's where I should have been more prepared to execute aggressive through the low. Better questioning, I think, when I get exiting the position, how much I executed in that little consolidation period. And, you know, just, you know, ask yourself, why are you taking the risk off? Should I be taking the risk off? I think I should have been in that part as you're going off the comments straight away, but you want to lean on that technical structure, and then if that's just a normal technical structure, then to re-add and, you know, add aggressive again. So they're the sort of things that I should have been more focusing on. You know, things I can improve on with the technical structure. You know, getting some good size away recently at the moment. I feel like breakouts, they're there, and especially if you're getting on the right move and the right sort of momentum move in the current market where not everything's moving smoothly, especially like Bund's not really doing too much. You know, stocks haven't, they've been being sideways a bit, and gold's been moving a bit more freely. So if you can execute in something in the other markets, get on that momentum move or whatever it is, it can make a real difference. I think I've noticed that in the last few breakout trades I've been taking. You know, I've been getting some good size away, but something I want to improve on is that I want to be getting like, you know, 10 lots is, you know, full size in oil and gold. You know, I want to push that harder on these breakout trades, you know, because I'm starting to feel like I'm understanding them much more. So I can then, you know, I want to start trying to taking more advantage and making a big difference. But that's it from me, guys. Normal information if you want to get in touch, info@axiafutures.com. I'll be back next week with another stream. Cheers, guys.